sprinkle in a little bit of claret and blue, and that just about completes the picture. Two teams are about to emerge from the tunnel below. Leeds United built up some momentum going into the international break. Often in these situations, the challenge is to ensure that you maintain it coming out of the international break. And when we think back to last season and last March, that proved to be too big a challenge for Leeds United ultimately. So, don't want the wobbles, want to get back in the groove ASAP, starting with this game against a Burnley side who fell like a stone out of the Premier League last season, who've made vast changes to their playing squad since, and who have a number of players who've basically arrived in the build-up to their last game against Blackburn, who will be in their starting 11 today. So it's been all change at Burnley. There's been a fair bit of change, but nothing quite as dramatic at Leeds United, as the two teams go through the pre-match rituals here. Leeds United obviously will be all in white, and Burnley will be in their change strip, it would appear, for this game this afternoon. All to be revealed shortly. And as the two teams complete the preliminaries and marching on together, carries on across the sound waves here at Ellen Road. We're ready for what has the look of an important fixture. Whatever the changes there have been at Burnley, you would still anticipate they'll be up and in it and around it through the course of this season. That would be the expectation of Scott Parker, their latest manager. So if Leeds want to see how they measure up, then this might be an afternoon when they'll get a chance to do that. The Leeds United 11 is the same 11 that began the game against Hull City. Recent arrival Isaac Schmidt is one of those on the bench. Burnley, all sorts of new names in their team, number of players in there who made their debut against Blackburn Rovers in their last fixture. Alongside me, as ever, is Tony Dorigo, and Tony does have that little air of something a little more important today, doesn't it?
It certainly does. This is probably a good test for us after our first few games to see exactly where we sit, how we've got on against, as you mentioned, a much changed Burnley side, but no doubt they're going to be up there come the end of the season, so this feels like an important game.
Well, it's less a huddle and more of a conference going out there amongst the Leeds United players in the build-up to kick-off here. And then there will be a gathering around the edge of the centre circle. The two teams are changing ends as well. But there's been some very sad news in the time since the players were all together, and that was the sad loss of a very much liked, well-loved Leeds United player. Played 56 games for the club, Sol Bamba. Had the pleasure of meeting him fairly recently, actually. He was part of the FAW coach education programme recently. He was on that. Lovely man, great player for Leeds, and Sol Bamba will be sadly missed. And the minute's applause has begun even before the referee signals it here, all around the ground. One of those people many have talked about, the Sol Bamba smile. Tumultuous applause to remember a former Leeds United captain and a lovely man, Sol Bamba. Now the official huddle for Leeds United. And Burnley, who've made, it would appear, Leeds switch ends. A little bit of the psychology perhaps there. We saw it happen a number of times last season. Not always entirely successfully, as Meslier goes towards the fans in the south stand and gives them a little clap, and they respond. Always feels like a long 2 weeks on these international breaks, and you get that little sense that everybody's just glad to be back here doing it all again. Daniel Farke watches on. Leeds United get the game underway. Pascal Struijk rolls the ball back into the penalty area to Meslier. And the goalkeeper is content to walk the ball just beyond the D before rolling it to Joe Rodon. There's a misplaced ball from Meslier in the earliest stages of this game, and he acknowledges his error as it goes straight into touch and out for a Burnley throw-in.
Well, that was nervy, wasn't it? I think Burnley, you can see that they're just allowing us to have that first pass, but after that, there's another poor one.
Oh, now there's a break potential for Leeds United. The ball is carried through the middle. Joseph's into the penalty area. Oh, he's put it wide. Well, that was an incredible opportunity for Leeds inside the first 60 seconds to take the lead in this game. Joseph had done everything right except for the finish, just wide.
Did really well, didn't he, to be alive and win that ball on the halfway line. After that, I thought, OK, show your composure. And he seemed to do, as you said, everything right, just trying to find the bottom corner. Keeper comes out, makes himself really big. Does James Trafford, does enough to put him off.
And it's hands to the head from Joseph, and no wonder, because he will know, really, having got into that position, that should be 1-0. So we've had an all-action opening to this game. Joseph in possession again. Ball is switched wide to Gnonto. Gnonto in action for the Italy under-21s in the international break. Pascal Struijk this time caught a little in possession. He's probably happy to see the ball spin out for a Leeds United throw-in.
What you're seeing is certainly a good work rate, aren't you, from Burnley. Talking to Ross McCormack before the game, who actually played with Scott Parker at Fulham. He said that the best team talks he's ever had are from Scott Parker.
There's a chance as a header comes in from just outside the 6-yard box, and it was Hannibal, the former Manchester United man, on the end of it, and it was Leeds who conceded possession. Rodon, the culprit, and it almost cost them.
Once again, from that high press, really was a good effort from Flemming initially, and Hannibal really should do a lot better. Got to be prepared for this fast start.
Fast start, indeed it is. We've had 2.5 minutes and we've had 2 really presentable goal-scoring chances. One at either end, both the result of errors.
Referee James Bell actually has done well, because the first foul, no doubt, was made by Koleosho on Firpo.
Maybe Leeds just want to calm things down a little here as the ball goes back to Meslier. Moves it out the penalty area, goes square to Rodon. Joe Rodon, who hopefully will have dried out after the drenching that the Wales players got in Montenegro in securing a midweek victory. Never seen rain like it. Rodon out wide, right side to Bogle. Joseph trying to return the pass. Burnley work it past the first couple of challenges before Solomon comes in. Now Firpo with a little bit of green in front of him. Plays it into an area. Aaronson can't quite get there, but he will get to this one. Now it goes back to Junior Firpo. Square to Gnonto. Bogle waits wide. It's a lovely ball from Gnonto to give him a bit of space. Plays it into the area for Gnonto. Just tips it into towards the near post. Didn't take any sort of deflection off a Burnley player in there. And it's in the possession of the goalkeeper, Trafford.
He actually had 3 options there, Bogle, and picked the wrong one. Pull back to Ampadu was on there. Could have just whipped in across. Over to Aaronson, but a good start, bright start. You've seen Burnley with that high press. Ours isn't bad either, is it? We've won the ball back in some really good areas.
Just a long ball played up into the Leeds half. Hasn't been a moment to draw breath as Rodon and Struijk collide, but get the ball away. And again, Struijk in there. And Joseph surely wrestled to the ground.
Oh, come on,
according to the referee. The challenge from Worrall, the former Forest man, was a clean one, apparently.
Not having that. I must admit, that's what I like about Joseph as well. He's bulked up, hasn't he, this past season. Looks physically strong and, wanting to mix it with the centre-halves. That's what you need to do. Trafford,
many were speculating would be one of the numerous Burnley players on their way out of the club, but since the Premier League relegation, here he is, still a Burnley player, number 1 for them now. 21-year-old goalkeeper. Rodon loses out. and it's played wide to the right side to Koleosho. Great challenge from Firpo to stop him in his tracks. And then Solomon goes through the gears, has to stop. He does a good job in getting the ball comfortably to Rodon. Now Gruev to Firpo. Humphreys with a strong challenge. Struijk intercepts but concedes possession. Well, he didn't actually, because Gnonto
No, he didn't.
made me look a mug. As the ball comes back to the edge of the penalty area, and Meslier.
No one was knowing where that was going. It was a shank off the shin, but we managed to pick it up. Good pace, isn't there, and tempo to the game.
Ball back with Struijk. And now Aaronson. And as the 6th minute ticks around here, there'll be applause that you'll be hearing in the background now, because that is to remember a very brave little lad who lost his battle for life again in the build-up to this game. More sad news. His picture is on the screen. It says, "Bob, forever in our heart." And the whole of the stadium is applauding, including Meslier, who was little Bob's favourite player. And there were some lovely images of Meslier and Bob at the training ground together that went out just in the last few days, just prior to his very sad passing. So all the players on the pitch, what a lovely tribute, have stopped playing, and everybody in the stadium has put their hands together and is applauding to remember Harrison Theakston, a Leeds United lad whose picture is on the big screen here at Ellen Road. Lovely moment. Football can do stuff like that. The game gets underway again with Pascal Struijk and Rodon exchanging passes. And then wide it goes to Bogle, tight to the touchline. Now Gnonto back to Bogle, can carry the ball forward for Leeds here. Up into that Burnley half. Aaronson, his players out wide, and he's played it to Firpo, edge of the box. Firpo just wriggling away from the initial defensive challenge, keeps the ball in well, gives it back to Gruev. Gruev into the edge of the box. Joseph lays it off. Ampadu takes control, plays it through the gap for Solomon. Solomon runs parallel with the penalty area. Solomon looking for a bit of help here, maybe, as he's tracked all the way. Gnonto has it now. Leeds trying to keep the pressure on. In it goes to Joseph, almost played through the gap for Bogle, comes back for Aaronson on the edge of the D. Brendan Aaronson trying to keep the ball, does well, and it comes for Firpo. Firpo tucks it back for Gruev, who'll try a shot. Well, wasn't a bad effort from Gruev, and it just sailed into the hands there of James Trafford on his goal line.
Really good play, but Burnley off straight away once Trafford's caught it. Counter-attacking, being nice and positive, but keeping the ball well, aren't we? In and around the box, it's really tight but intricate. We're managing to get a shot away.
Humphreys back to Trafford. It's been a lively opening to this game. I haven't had a chance to tell you yet that Will Ferrell was really nice pre-match.
Wow. The elf is here.
He's always going to be Ron Burgundy to me. It's the media thing, you know. A big hero of mine.
I see.
So
learned
Will
everything
Ferrell,
from him.
I did, very much so, yeah. And his sportscaster, is it Champ Kind as well in broadcast news, anchorman rather. And Will Ferrell is here as he is now a minority investor in Leeds United, so he's making his first visit to Ellen Road this afternoon. As is Frank Gore, the former 49ers star, who's here as well, as Burnley see an attack thwarted as the ball is played off the foot of Rodon, but still alive, perhaps before Meslier comes off his goal line and just gathers the ball on the edge of the 6-yard box. Had a chat with Frank as well, so really good to see him here at Ellen Road today.
All we need now is a performance out of our boys,
absolutely,
don't we? Just to top it off nicely, but good to see all the stuff going on off the pitch, but really is on the pitch where it very much matters. And this one against Burnley, as I said, it will be a good test, and you can already see the quality of both sides on show.
Gnonto chases, doesn't get there, but Leeds end up with a throw-in midway inside the Burnley half. Bogle, and it goes to Joseph. Passes under hit, but Ampadu's picked up the loose ball. And Struijk is happy to go back to Meslier. Meslier just scoops it forward into the Burnley half. Easy header won in there by the French defender, Esteve.
It's lovely play there from Ampadu, in that most players would just hook it back across, but he brings it down and sets us on the way.
Solomon, I thought he had just strayed offside. We're looking right down the line here, and Solomon was just beyond the body of Humphreys, so it'll be a Burnley free kick. Back it goes into the penalty area to Trafford. These two teams last met in the Premier League here at Ellen Road, and Leeds came out on top 3-1 that day. Firpo's header to Ampadu. Straight ball to Gnonto and back to Ampadu. Bogle sets off. Ampadu goes the other way. Struijk to Solomon. Goal provider in the last match here. Keeps the ball tight to his foot. He was playing for Israel in the international break.
Yes, had a look at how many minutes he was playing, and then have a bit of a rest.
Well, he's been lively in the opening stages of this game, and he's just earned Leeds United a first corner kick.
Yeah, no doubt that Burnley will be wary of Solomon. And once again, he just gets into good areas, does the right thing. Wins us a corner kick. Let's see how we go from these set pieces. An area certainly this season we have to improve.
So Gruev is the man tasked with taking the corner. Movement in the area as it goes towards the penalty spot. Joseph actually got a header in from that position, but there were too many bodies between him and the goal for it to cause any real trouble to Burnley, who've cleared the ball away. But Leeds have picked it up and have it again in that Burnley half, for the time being at least. Now it's back with Rodon and Ampadu. And he's played a ball looking to get Solomon running out wide, but it's sailed away from Solomon into touch.
Unusual. Ampadu pass misses by that much, but Solomon made the run inside, but so did Firpo. So sometimes just Firpo, I think, at times can just stay back and allow that space for Solomon to receive the ball.
Always eager to get forward, isn't he, Junior Firpo?
And like Bogle on the other side as well, rather than just tearing forward, do that at the right time. But it's certainly a feature of our play now, fullbacks getting forward.
Having to defend at the moment because Burnley have spread the ball well wide to the right side of the penalty area, and there's a lot of space to put the ball back in the box again, and the header is goalwards, but it lacks power, and it's an easy pick up from the headers Flemming into the hands of Meslier.
I saw Firpo go down after a clash. The referee said it was just a coming together, so quickly back on his feet. Couldn't stop the cross coming in, but no danger for Meslier.
Struijk. And now Rodon. And Ampadu. Firpo giving the ball in front of Scott Parker. Solomon beaten in the air. Kind of in the air by the much taller figure of Joe Worrall. Leeds have the throw in, halfway line. 14 minutes, 0-0. Great chance in the opening minute of the game for Mateo Joseph. Put that one wide. Leeds look to build something here with Solomon through the middle this time. Holds it up nicely, really good work, and spreads the ball well wide for Bogle to sprint and pick up towards the corner flag. Brings it back, and Ampadu supports. Ampadu into the penalty area, curls his cross in. Joseph wins the header, but he can't get it on target, and it loops a little wide.
Once again, excellent play, usually from Solomon. Just clever, puts it out to the right-hand side. This time, Bogle does find Ampadu. And that ball to the back stick, just a little too high for Joseph to nod it either on goal or back to a teammate.
Burnley setting up potentially for a short goal kick, and then the plan changes and it goes long from Trafford instead. Bogle with a header on the halfway line, but straight into the path of Josh Laurent, and then played through the middle. And there's a shot straight into the hands from Flemming of Meslier. So again, it's Flemming who's on the end of it, this time with his feet. The outcome is the same as a moment ago.
A little concern there that Rodon just got eventually the wrong side, but his strength and speed got him back. And for 1 minute, he lets go at the right time as well. It's actually good defending.
Plenty of signs in the opening stages of this game that this could be a battle royale. Firpo. Now Struijk. And it's back with Firpo, and now Ampadu. Played over the top. Almost worked for Aaronson. Header comes down for Gruev, and now Aaronson out wide to Solomon. Solomon tucks it back into the path of Firpo. Little flick by Gruev, almost finds Aaronson in a pocket of space in the penalty area before Worrall gets across decisively and sweeps the ball into touch.
Good covering, wasn't it, from the Burnley centre-half to get across. It was a lovely flick from Gruev as it comes in, but Worrall gets across, makes a good challenge. Aaronson's fine.
Firpo's throw to Aaronson. Firpo holds it up, it's tight. Aaronson comes in to take it off him. Aaronson trying to find some space, going for the byline, wins Leeds a corner. Good positive play from Brendan Aaronson, and it has some sort of a positive outcome as well.
Well, you think Aaronson's going down the cul-de-sac, but none of it spins, turns, goes the other way. And it's a really good corner.
Heard from him before kick-off, got the Fans Player of the Month award. That'll be a big boost to him, I'm sure. Gruev with a corner kick for Leeds. Just beyond the head of Joseph, headed clear. Solomon picks it up and slips, and now there's a counter-attack, and Leeds are in trouble here because Koleosho is moving into acres of space. Bogle trying to work out whether to get across, and he's just driven it low, and he's driven it into the back of the net. Leeds caught cold by the counter-attack, the slip, and Koleosho did all the rest on him on his own, ran straight through and just put it inside the far corner of the net for Leeds 0, Burnley 1.
It's an excellent finish from Koleosho, and yes, it is a slip, but still the Burnley player had a long way to run, didn't he, and finish. And Bogle waited and waited, and I think he just waited too long to come across and engage the ball. Struijk was just about getting back. You can see, not even in sight. Eventually he does get there, but it is a really good finish. And how many times have we seen it go through the defender's legs into that bottom corner?
Pretty much used Bogle as a mask there, didn't he, just to disguise the initial delivery of the ball. Went through the legs of Bogle, Meslier probably unsighted, and it rolled into the corner of the net, perfectly placed. And Koleosho, the American, makes the big impression in front of two clubs with American owner groups. Big delay to the resumption of the action here. Burnley voices down below in the West End raised in celebration. It's the first time Leeds have been behind in a league game so far this season.
Now we have to start getting back to our passing and just the press and the pressure and the speed that Burnley players are closing us down, causing us a problem. Rodon and Struijk especially. If you've got time, don't take it, because you'll soon be closed down. So make sure you're passing. There's a lot of power and with intent. Do it quickly and get on with it. At the moment, we're getting rushed out of it.
Obviously, when I say behind, I mean with the opening goal of the game, having fallen behind to Portsmouth in the closing seconds of the first home fixture of the campaign, and then striking back, something Leeds have got to try and look to do here again now. Plenty of time to do it, but they'll be wary. Burnley have most definitely served notice that they're here to give Leeds a real game this afternoon. Aaronson and Firpo. Gruev. Back heel to Aaronson. Now Struijk. Rodon just to his right. Solomon's got a bit of space. Firpo ahead of him. Solomon goes inside. Plays it into the penalty area to Joseph. Holds it up well. Gives it to Firpo, looking at the penalty area. Comes back for Gruev. Leeds force back to Struijk. Firpo picks it up again on the left side, just in from the touchline. Infield to Solomon, drops his shoulder. Plays it into Joseph. Joseph just outside the area. Wriggles, gives it to Ampadu. His shot is low and hard, but it's blocked by Brownhill and cleared. Ampadu slides in. Great challenge from Ethan Ampadu. Had to be timed well, and it was as Flemming came in. He beat him to it, but he's given that one away. And now, again, there's the chance for a Burnley counter-attack, perhaps, as Flemming knocks it to his left. And the charge is on down that side and then into the penalty area. Firpo waiting for the cross that comes in, and he just chests it down calmly into the path of Meslier.
You can see what certainly Burnley are doing. They'll either press us high at a certain point when we have the ball, or when they win it back, my goodness, they counter-attack extremely quickly.
And that was Pires, the Brazilian, getting forward for them then. He has a reputation for loving the attacking aspect of that full-back's role. I saw an example of how keen he was to get forward then. Pascal Struijk. Now Gruev, now Firpo. Down the line, it's not going to arrive in the path of Solomon. Goes back to Trafford, who rather makes a bit of a mess of the clearance, but it means Gruev is fouled, and it means Leeds have a free kick. And it's pretty much midway inside the Burnley half. It's taken quickly. Aaronson. Out wide to Firpo. Back infield to Aaronson. Burnley find a good shape, so Leeds to go across rather than forward. In fact, they go back a little. Now they go back up to Aaronson. In it goes to Solomon. Plays it into an occupied area, but it's won back by Aaronson. Into Gnonto! Oh, the keeper's made a great save. Willie Gnonto broke through the lines there, and he was clean through, and the keeper came out and blocked the shot on target. And Leeds are defending swiftly at the other end as a familiar figure of Jaden Anthony puts a shot across goal. Cross-come shot, perhaps. Nobody's on the end of it, but Leeds are lucky that that is the case.
Once again, the counter-attack from Burnley. We think we might get the equaliser, then right at the other end come Burnley. You're right, it was a really good save that Gnonto, I'm sure, I think he might have done slightly better and stuck it in the back of the net.
Gnonto wins a foul. Well, it's been some start to this game. The scoreline doesn't look like we want it to look, but there has been action aplenty.
There's going to be chances, isn't it? Simple as that. But even when we have a chance, make sure we need to defend and stop them on the counter.
Struijk. That position made perhaps a little more difficult by the fact that Leeds are chasing to get back level here, so there may be a tendency to go after the game. Burnley, with the speed at which they've been counter-attacking, show that they may fancy that scenario.
Well, I think the last thing we want to do is chase the game. Just need to gain control of this midfield, put them under pressure, take our opportunities at the right time, commit bodies forward at the right time, but not lose it in that midfield area, because you can see it's exactly what Burnley are after.
Lovely touch by Solomon to win the free kick as he's brought down. There was a potential advantage there as Aaronson had got onto the loose ball. The referee had already long since blown for the free kick, which goes backwards for Leeds when there was momentum forward, potentially with an advantage. Anyway, it's gone now. Gruev through the middle. Blocked. Ampadu will try and win it. Does win it. Does well. Ampadu plays it through for Joseph. Joseph plays it into Firpo. Firpo tried to get it out from under his feet there to get it into the middle. And as he was trying to do that, Rodon got across in front of him and put it out for a throw-in.
Oh, really good play again. Winning the ball back. Tight areas. We're finding space.
Group has had so little time to work together since the last game against Hull. So many have been away, but Leeds are moving it around nicely at the moment with Firpo now in possession. Back it goes to Gruev. Ampadu stretches. Oh, it was not a bad idea from Ethan Ampadu, but Solomon had come backwards to see if he could help out, and Ampadu played the ball to a position he just left.
That was unfortunate. Just earlier we didn't quite have the movement in front of Firpo to receive the ball, but certainly overloads left side, right side. Opportunities will present themselves.
Subs are plenty, are warming up down below. Tanaka is there. Schmidt also. As the free kick is played forward by Trafford. Over the head of Ampadu, he's shoved in the back as he goes up high for the ball. Leeds have a free kick, which he takes quickly. Rodon out to the right side and Bogle. Gnonto stopped. Leeds throw in.
Just looked at that chance earlier on the replay from Gnonto. It's the only place that he could put it where he didn't score. It was straight into the keeper's chest, unfortunately.
Yeah, he had 2 corners to go for. Again, Leeds thwarted. Burnley have the only goal of the game. Struijk trying to do something about that now through Firpo. Goes back to the halfway line and Gruev. Gnonto plays it down the channel. Firpo doesn't quite get there because it's intercepted before it gets to him. Then the flag is raised for an offside against Firpo, I think. And so it'll be a Burnley free kick on the edge of their own box.
Just a little late with the ball arriving. Just got to settle back down again. Certainly has been a lively start, but going a goal down suits Burnley's style and tactics down to a T, doesn't it? So can't fall into the same trap again.
Trafford motions his teammates forward because he's going long. Struijk underneath it, as is Flemming, the debutant. He's coming from Millwall. Rodon and Struijk combine just outside the box, and again wide to Bogle. Into Gnonto. Oh, he's found a little bit of space, Gnonto. He's made more space for himself now, and he's got options wide. He's going through the middle at the moment. Played to the edge of the box, and Bogle to the byline. Cuts the ball back into the middle. Joseph takes it away from goal, but still has the ball at his feet. Trying to build something, contrive something from the byline. Still there. And it's into the middle, and it's taken away from Aaronson. Bogle, oh, just a slight miscontrol. And that was enough to allow the defensive challenge. And now Struik's got to run fast because Koleosho can shift, and he came across quickly to put pressure on there, but Leeds got it back to Meslier safely.
Once again, excellent play, but just finding that bit of space in the box is proving difficult. We kept it well. Joseph held the ball up, but Burnley defending in numbers.
Ampadu and Gruev and Solomon. Back to Gruev. Ampadu through the gap for Aaronson. Forced back to the halfway line to Struijk. Back to Aaronson in the centre circle. Short ball to Rodon. Now Gruev. Still going. Solomon's offside again. And that one's a little bit lax because I think it's fair to say Solomon probably had the chance to look down the line there. He'd stepped just a little too far forward.
You can see across the line, can't he? Even the lines on the pitch are there to help, but just a little too eager.
The Burnley offside line held successfully as they, as a unit, walk forward now. As Trafford's going to take the free kick from just outside the penalty area. Leeds United 0, Burnley 1 in the 30th minute here at Ellen Road. Struijk wins a header, helped on by Solomon. Worrall with a big up and under towards the edge of the Leeds box. Rodon underneath it with a looping header. And then it comes out of play off the top of the head of Firpo for a Burnley throw. And back to Worrall on the halfway line. Goes square to his central defensive partner Esteve. Back to Worrall again. Now Bashir Humphreys. Trafford, the keeper, on the edge of the box. Allowed to pick his option. Esteve it is. The Brazilian Pires goes back to the keeper. Gnonto charges forward, see if he can put pressure on there, and Joseph does the same now. Humphreys has gone out to play, so ultimately the press works because a mistake was made by the right full-back, and Leeds have earned a throw-in from it.
Yes, good energy. As you say, the press did work. Just make it difficult for the defender to play a easy pass to anyone like that.
Loose pass from Bogle, and now Leeds have got to get back behind the ball because Burnley have sprung forward at speed again here. Ball into the penalty area. Brownhill plays it into the middle, teed up on the penalty spot, and the shot is blocked as it looked from Anthony like it might be heading goalwards, and it goes out for a corner kick.
Once again, they just win the ball in that midfield area, and after that they pile bodies forward. Brownhill does well to dig it out, but we have enough bodies back there just to get something in the way.
Jayden Anthony only scored 1 goal in his spell at Leeds United last season, and he wasn't far off getting off the mark for Burnley there. They have a corner still, so they'll take from in front of the travelling Burnley fans. Swung into the near post, and that ball is won at the near post, and the header is directed wide there from Worrall, who got himself into a good position. Maybe could have done better.
He really did. Free header as well. When you get a delivery like that that's right on the money, of course Burnley attacking it, Worrall gets there first.
Struijk. Not many options. He's got to go back to Meslier. Burnley playing real in the faces of the Leeds defenders. Ball headed out over the near side touchline for a Leeds throw-in. Firpo goes back to Struijk. Turn to Meslier, and then wide to Rodon. Bogle to Gnonto. There's space for Leeds, loads of space for Leeds down the left-hand side where Firpo has it now, and now it's on to Solomon. He's onside, up to the edge of the penalty area, looking to get the ball towards the far post. Bogle heads it back into the middle, but can't really get the direction on it that he wanted, and it drops kindly into the hands of the keeper.
And there's the other side of the coin with the high press. If you can move it quickly enough, you'll find space somewhere. We found it in midfield, and the break was a good one. And Solomon gets it, probably chip up to the back stick, but Bogle couldn't quite control that header back.
Firpo, he's been caught out there, and he's committed a foul. He could have left it, as it turned out, because Rodon was going to get across to cover, and Firpo's going to get a yellow card because Koleosho, he had wriggled away, Firpo had lost it, but Rodon was in the correct covering position. The foul was committed, the card was shown.
It's just a long ball, and Firpo, just his positioning was not good. Tries to then block the player, didn't need to. Rodon was there.
So it's a Burnley free kick just inside the Leeds half. Scott Parker down below, always elegantly attired in the technical area. Seen that from his previous management roles. 2 promotions on his CV from the Championship to Premier League. Ball into the edge of the penalty area, headed away. Still not clear though. Only have it just outside the Leeds box. Back it comes to Hannibal. And he comes out wide to the man down the right-hand side, Koleosho, who curls his cross into the middle. Good shape on that. And Gruev's happy just to hook it as far forward as he can get it. It's one in the air by a Burnley head, Pires, and then out of play on this near side for a Leeds United throw-in the end.
I must admit, Hannibal is here, there and everywhere, just closing down. His work rate off the ball is impressive.
If I remember rightly, didn't he play for the Manchester United side in that pre-season friendly against Leeds?
Wash your mouth out.
Before last season. Did we see him in action in that one? Here he is at Burnley now, signed on full-time. Gnonto for Leeds down the right-hand side. Coming in field with it, Gruev. Now Ampadu in support. He plays it out to Aaronson to win the header in the middle. It goes up in the air, and then looked like Gruev was pushed there. Ampadu's come in. It's won back by Leeds, and Firpo has it. On it goes to Aaronson. It's all Aaronson cut down then, but Leeds have an advantage. Well, do they have an advantage? Well, they have the ball, and Aaronson again is fouled, and again the game goes on. Firpo tries to cross. Ampadu. Would Leeds not have been happier with a free kick from a position just outside the D there?
Certainly would have done. Absolutely. A couple of times there, could have went our way. Difficult for the referee because he did allow the advantage, but he didn't really use it very well.
Joseph into Aaronson. Play through the middle. Gnonto's made a good run. It's broken. And in the middle for Solomon. Oh, he looks like he's brought down. And the referee disagrees and points for a corner kick. Solomon stays down, and the Leeds fans adamant that should have been a penalty.
Well, I'm looking at that. Did he get a piece of the ball? Is that not a tackle from behind anyway? Let's have a look. Oh, that's a knee. Looks like a penalty. Solomon's there in front. Worrall then just puts his
penalty, isn't it?
From behind. It's a foul. It's a penalty.
Well, I think Leeds have been hard done to. I'm sure you'd expect me to say that, but
well, you can't tackle from behind. I mean, anytime you do something like that, it's a penalty.
The referee has gone for a consultation with the assistant far side. What's his contribution going to be to the discussion? Let's hope he's just saying no, it was a penalty. I doubt it, though.
This will be interesting. Yellow card to someone.
It'll be something that a Leeds player has said, I'm sure, won't it? It can't be anything other. The referee is calling. Who's he calling in? Oh, he's calling in the Burnley player for a yellow card. Hannibal. Is that for the earlier free kick? The earlier foul
on Aaronson. That's a strange one.
So basically the assistant's reminded him about that, hasn't he?
This is very odd.
And that's how it would appear.
Now Solomon, he's got the ball. He's got the ball in front of him. His body is across Worrall. And Worrall from behind has tackled him. And whether I think he looked like he got Solomon anyway, and then onto the ball. Doesn't matter. It's a tackle from behind. Should have been a penalty.
James Bell is not the most popular man inside Ellen Road just at the moment. Leeds have a corner kick. Gruev puts it in the middle, goes beyond the head of Struijk, and it'll be picked up far side of the area by the man who's just been yellow carded, Hannibal, who skips away from Aaronson. But doesn't skip away from Ethan Ampadu, who flashes into a challenge successfully to see the ball go out, but he's hurt himself in the process.
Thing is, he went absolutely fully for it, but momentum was really with Hannibal. I hope he hasn't hurt himself too badly, but you can see, let's have a look at it's coming in on the side, and the problem is Hannibal's just going fully out, and that could be, hopefully not, but a real problem for Ethan Ampadu.
Ampadu still down.
Around the ankle area, just above the ankle. And hoping that is not as bad as I think it might be.
Well, we know he's a warrior, Ethan Ampadu, but some injuries are just too serious to be able to get up and carry on at the moment. Signs aren't great here. He's still on his back, still on that far side in front of the east stand on the touchline.
Hannibal has gone straight up to Solomon and had a go at him. Is he kidding?
Hannibal was also kind of gesticulating after that Ampadu challenge as well, which Ethan Ampadu won the ball. Strong though it may have been. Ampadu obviously is the man who's come out of it much worse.
So there you can see Hannibal's ran a long way, stuck his head in as well.
So maybe that's what the card was for, and that's what the assistant spotted.
Referee assistant, yeah, certainly that's what he saw, but fortunately penalty was missed by the referee.
Ampadu still doing his best. He's sitting up now, but It's that familiar finger click thing, pioneered by Jorginho, that suggests that there is still pain there for Ethan Ampadu.
And there, Hannibal's having a go at Ampadu again. It's ridiculous. And the challenge, you look at Ampadu when he makes that challenge, his foot is almost on the ground, so his studs are not up at all. It's just the follow through from Hannibal is where the damage happened.
Well, the good news is that Ethan Ampadu is back on his feet. Whether or for how long he'll be able to carry on is the next challenge. Hannibal's Manchester United allegiances are not going to endear him at any time to the Leeds United fans, less so after the last couple of minutes. The game will finally restart with a Burnley throw in as Ampadu trying to walk it off on that far side. It's a pretty heavy limp at the moment.
At that rate, it could take him a while.
So Rothwell is going through the warm-up procedures down below. Also got the option perhaps of Tanaka in there as well. So there are options, there are opportunities for Leeds to replace Ethan Ampadu should they need to, but he never wants to not be involved, does he, Ethan Ampadu? So now he's waiting for the signal for the referee to be allowed to come back on. Arms outstretched on the far touchline. Now he finally gets the signal. Burnley probably not too unhappy about that fairly lengthy delay we've just had as they try and build an attack here. Struijk does really well, actually. Held his man off, and it's a free kick for a foul on Aaronson. A little bit lucky there, perhaps, as Rodon, big and strong, kept him away from the ball, and fairly said the referee. Leeds want to get it going quickly with Bogle, far side, back it goes to Rodon, under pressure from Anthony.
Well, anytime the centre-halves get it, they're under pressure from one of the front three there.
Rodon back to Meslier in the box. We're inside the final couple of minutes of regulation time in the first 45. I think there's going to be 4 or 5 perhaps to be added on. Gnonto played into Ampadu, looks okay. Spreads the play to Firpo, drops down into the path now of Solomon in the penalty area, forced out the box. Great turn. Solomon runs parallel, gives it to Ampadu to shoot. Scuffs it as he hits it, and it sails wide.
Just wonderful play again, isn't it, from Manus Solomon? Just such a low centre of gravity, but the ball, you said it before, that sticks to his feet even when he's moving it left to right. Finds space, gives it to Ampadu, and the shot's not a good one.
I think of all the players in the Leeds line, probably the one you didn't want in that position.
Exactly.
Love him to bits, but probably wasn't
with the bad
Ampadu.
right ankle. Let's give it to Ampadu, but maybe next time he'll be fine.
Trafford. Bogle wins the header. Gnonto on the halfway line. Brings it down under control. Leeds have it now with Ampadu to Gruev. Aaronson, a few tackles flying in. Lovely play from Aaronson. High skill. Now played over the top for Solomon to chase. Goalkeepers come to the edge of the area to pick it up first bounce. Solomon acknowledges the effort.
Certainly a good idea, wasn't it? Good play, but Humphreys actually eventually gets round well.
Trafford takes his time, drops it to the ground, kicks it long. Struik's header. Into the centre circle it goes. Laurent's up in the air. Anthony, little flick out the outstep to Pires. Anthony again. Pushes Gnonto to the floor. Leeds free kick. Ampadu still looking uncomfortable. And they'll want to get him in at half-time and make an assessment, I suspect.
They would. That's a yellow card for Jadon Anthony, but that's more to do with the mistakes I think the referee's made previously. One or two things are kind of going our way a bit more. And you're right, Ampadu, can he just make it through without doing any more damage and get assessed?
Gruev goes across the middle to Rodon. Wide right to Bogle. and there will be 4 minutes added on. Aaronson breaks for Joseph, wide for Gnonto. Leeds midway inside the Burnley half and advancing with Gnonto. In it goes to Aaronson. Tried a really fancy flick back into the path of Gnonto. Maybe something a bit more conventional might have been preferable there. Leeds lose possession. Burnley have a throw in.
Well, we certainly do look tricky in and around the box. Places to try those things is in that last third. That's fine, but we got back and won and stopped the counter-attack from Burnley.
Pires with a delay before he throws it. Anthony's header. Struijk loops it back into the Burnley half. Aaronson couldn't get up to make proper contact with that. Comes off the top of his head and out for a Burnley throw-in, which they're in zero hurry to take. Pires. Header from Rodon and Laurent. And then Ampadu. Flicked beyond. The two defenders have got on each other's way completely there. And there's a handball in the midst of all of that. The two Burnley central defenders collided with each other, and on another day that could have broken really kindly for Leeds, but there's a yellow card shown as well. So the cards are coming out thick and fast now, and the man who received that one, I think, was Joe Worrall.
It is a lack of communication between the two centre-halves. Left arm comes out, touches the ball. This time referee did see that and gives a yellow card.
So Leeds have a chance in the closing stages of this first half to put the ball into that Burnley penalty area. Gruev leaves it for Aaronson. Ampadu almost pushed it into the path of Struijk, but it only falls for Anthony. Aaronson's underneath it. He's got to do something with this because he's under pressure. Does well, gives it to Bogle. Now Gruev. Leeds have worked it really nicely there. Now can they build something from the halfway line with Solomon here as Burnley begin to backpedal? Solomon with a step over, helps it out to Firpo, into Joseph. Joseph with Worrall tight to him. Keeps the ball, gives it into Gruev, laid off for Gnonto. Passes just ahead of Gruev, and so the ball is pushed back into the path of Trafford to clear up long into the Leeds half, which is where Burnley want it at this stage in the final few seconds of this first period. Foul is given to Burnley. They'll have a chance from just outside the centre circle, perhaps, to put a little bit more pressure on Leeds United.
Once again, I'm not sure how that is a foul. I suppose just the grabbing of Hannibal once he felt the two hands on him. Down he goes.
Free kick just outside the centre circle. Joe Rodon, the man penalised. And we're into the final minute of the 4. Leeds United 0, Burnley 1. And Burnley with a final chance this half to put some pressure on Leeds. Pires is left to it. In it goes to the edge of the penalty area. Rodon heads it clear. Given away straight to Solomon. Leeds could counter-attack perhaps. It's a time still in this game as it comes out to Aaronson. Aaronson holds it up as Burnley close the door. Back to the halfway line to Gruev. Leeds need to keep the momentum on here. There are seconds remaining. Gruev with a little pass square to Rodon. Rodon out wide to Gnonto. Gnonto takes his man on. Cuts the ball into penalty area. Well, Leeds will have a corner. Will they have time for the corner?
Great play, really was. Moved it well out to that right hand side, and lovely play trying to get this cross in. Just get in the box, attack, and see if we can get this equaliser.
Well, he can't hang around with this one, Brendan Aaronson, can he? Because you fancy as soon as it leaves his foot, the whistle could go, because we're past by 25 seconds the additional 4 to be added here as Aaronson puts it into the penalty area now. Heads go up from Struijk. He made contact and it went wide, and he's frustrated because he knows it was a chance right at the end of the first half. So as Leeds walk off, they trail by a goal to 0, but they've had really good chances to ensure that wasn't the case. Burnley have had their moments as well. There's a lot more football to be played in this game, you fancy. Half-time scoreline is Leeds United 0, Burnley 1.
Yes, there most certainly is, and I think we've had the two best chances. Joseph right at the start of the game, and then Gnonto should have scored, but we find ourselves 1-0 down from just a slip, really. And on the counter, Burnley have looked strong all day long. Tempo's high, pace is high, quality is pretty good out there as well, but it's got to keep our heads and step it up in the second half, but always wary of Burnley on the counter.
As the referee heads towards the tunnel, a few boos there because Leeds will maintain that there was a very strong case for a penalty kick to be awarded. Got nothing, and as a consequence, the half-time scoreline is Leeds United 0, Burnley 1. Man standing over the ball is the familiar, distinctive figure of Hannibal. And then the ball is kicked straight into touch. Not the most impressive start to a half from Burnley, as the goalkeeper played it straight out from the penalty area, out for a throw-in. Struijk with a short ball forward to Gruev, and back to Pascal Struijk again. Left side as the ball stayed in, just, and then Leeds end up with a throw-in with Firpo with the ball in hand. And it goes to Joseph. Bit of space down the right for Bogle, but it's come back for Rodon before it goes to Bogle. Gnonto ahead of him, has the ball now. Gnonto brings it infield, checks, goes back to Ampadu. And Gnonto had moved and Ampadu hadn't spotted it, and Leeds have lost the possession. Burnley are in the Leeds half before Leeds quickly win it back through Gruev in midfield. Has the ball again. Left side to Firpo, infield to Joseph. Just laid it off there, but almost overplayed that from Leeds, but they've got away with it and they have possession still.
And Gruev so important, breaks the play up well, doesn't he, and then just gets us on our way.
Gnonto picked up as Aaronson went down under a heavy challenge. Leeds have it back again with Bogle in the middle of the Burnley half. Out wide it goes to Firpo. Firpo quickly closed down, but Solomon waits and has it now off him. Solomon moves up towards the edge of the box. Misplaced ball from Solomon, didn't find Joseph. Burnley clear. Leeds get it back again to keep the pressure on down the left side with Firpo to Solomon, coming in from the far touchline, going to the byline. Tried to whip his cross into the middle, not enough whip on it as it turned out, and it went out and behind.
Unfortunate, twisted one way and the other, I think. Got his precious half a yard. Normally you see a quality delivery after that, but not this time. Just got to keep going, keep doing the right things, keep winning the balls back high up. But Burnley, in that first half, we know they defended well and in numbers, always are a danger on that counter, but just wonder when Daniel Farke will start to make one or two changes.
Pires plays a ball into the path of Flemming, but really well defended by Joe Rodon, who's got a cross in front of him, spotted it, and made sure that nothing bad came of that pass. And he has the ball indeed for Leeds now. On to Gruev. Now Ampadu. Bogle's ball is blocked by the Brazilian. Back it comes to Rodon. Now Pascal Struijk. Fans will have their part to play this second half perhaps as well. Leeds probing, trying to find at least an equaliser here. Rodon out wide to Bogle. Ampadu. Back it goes to Rodon. Into the centre circle to Struijk. Now Rodon to work it a little further forward. Bogle space down the right. Helped on to Aaronson. Aaronson hemmed in by three black shirts. And the ball is taken off him, but Rodon's with the header down to Ampadu, and then Bogle just swings it forward for Joseph to go after. Worrall got there just ahead of him. Down by the corner flag. Worrall to try and clear, actually does the best he can do there. Worrall plays it against Joseph and it goes out and behind for a goal kick.
Once again they defended well. Joseph did everything he could to try and get his body in between the ball and the defender, but Worrall was a bit too clever for him and managed to get there.
Back to the goalkeeper from Esteve. Short goal kick. And a longer kick forward from Trafford. Struijk underneath it with a header. Nodded back into the Leeds half. Firpo battling with Koleosho. Comes out for Gruev. Gruev, well, he's played it into an area there rather to a teammate. But the area was unoccupied by anybody in a white shirt.
Gnonto actually went and then stopped. By that time, Gruev had his head down and just played the ball.
Trafford clears. Struijk underneath it on the chest. Nodded, diving header into the path of Gruev. Burnley wanted a free kick. Leeds are told to get on with it. Well, that's what Ethan Ampadu's indicating, and rightly so as well, because Hannibal's back on his feet now.
And nothing wrong with him at all.
Ampadu made the right call there as Leeds kept going rather than stopping and kicking the ball out. Rodon. And it goes to Gnonto through the middle. Gnonto's looking goalwards, shoots, takes a deflection, and it's actually hit Firpo, I think, and gone behind off Firpo for a goal kick.
It has done. Jimmy Firpo just gets forward and kind of gets in the way that time. Solomon wanted it on the left-hand side as well. Instead, Gnonto's gone for goal. Why not? But Ricochet didn't go kindly for us.
Ball is still on the edge of the Burnley penalty area, just beyond. Leeds going in hard to win the ball back successfully with Solomon. Now Gruev, back to Solomon on that far touchline. Into the path of Gruev, tucked into Joseph. Still very tight in there. Emerges for the shot on goal! Great save from Trafford. Joseph tried his luck from outside the box, and he wasn't far away.
Really good effort, wasn't it, from Mateo? Joseph just gets it out of his feet, whips it to that far post, but Trafford, excellent footwork from the keeper as well.
Here's Aaronson in the penalty area. His shot is blocked. He was in a good position. Gnonto's going to be in trouble here. It's a lunge on Anthony. That's going to see him yellow carded, as he realised that Anthony had got away from him, and so he took a fairly drastic course of action. And there's his punishment.
And I think he'll be happy just to take that yellow and walk away. He got there as quick as he could. Unfortunately, the ball was nowhere near. And that's a poor challenge. There's an excellent bit of technique from both goalkeeper and Mateo Joseph.
Anthony's back on his feet. A number of players now on yellow cards, walking that little tightrope. There's a little pat and a hug between Anthony and Gnonto. Transfer in love and war. Ball on the far side with Burnley and Hannibal. Looked like an offside as we look down the line, but the game goes on and Burnley attack and they're into the penalty area. Anthony is waiting in the middle. Ampadu's done a brilliant job for Leeds defensively there to win the ball back. And again, the referee has made the wrong call with the advantage thing there. He could have let play go and Leeds were on the front foot. He stopped play, brought it back to the edge of the penalty area.
But once again, I think, to be fair to the referees, a little unlucky there, because the ball he thought is going nowhere, but Solomon, brilliant turn, beats the defender, but the whistle went prior to that.
Rodon to Bogle. Coming in field. Space, look at the space down the left for Leeds here. Solomon plays it to Firpo in the penalty area, and his cross has come back off the defender and gone out for a corner kick.
Such a great defending from Humphreys. And the new boy gets across really well. Firpo was all set up, but still couldn't get the ball past an outstretched defender.
Leeds' first corner in the second half. Gruev will take it. Will be a good time to get one from a set piece here. Firpo with a stooping header. Final touches again off the defender, so Leeds have another chance from that side. And Rodon and Struijk, the standout tall guys, wait in the middle. Gruev with the outswinger into the crowd of players, and it is a crowd in there. It's hooked back into the path of Gruev, puts it back into the middle, cleared away by Anthony. And Solomon's chasing after this to make sure that there's no counter-attack potential. He takes the throw in quickly. down the line to Joseph, who's missed control, but it's won by Solomon, who's alive to that one. He's done well there, Solomon, for Leeds. Still has the ball, gives it to Firpo. Back to Solomon again, 55th minute, Leeds behind. Gruev in the penalty area, but facing the wrong way. Solomon tight to that touchline. Goes back, and it's just intercepted before it arrives at the feet of Gruev. Leeds have a throw in. Pattern maybe has been established for this second half.
It has, but certainly Burnley are tough nut to crack, tough to break down, so we have to be really precise with our passing. Just move it that much quicker to give the player on the ball that extra bit of time to produce that final pass.
Rodon to Struijk. Now Aaronson. Burnley, everybody back behind the ball. Everybody's in that Burnley half bar. Meslier. Gnonto down the left. Laurent gets the ball off him. Strong midfielder. Stoke man, who's recently arrived at Burnley, as have so many. As the ball goes out over the far touchline for a Leeds throw in. I think Burnley thought it was maybe their ball there, but it's Firpo who takes the throw. Back to Struijk. Rodon to Ampadu. Ampadu has given that one away. Wins it. Joseph wins it back really well for Leeds. Now Aaronson. Aaronson looks like he was pushed to the ground. Referee doesn't see it that way. Rodon, his pass is misplaced, and then the ball breaks nicely for Gruev as Rodon makes a second challenge. Now Gnonto through the middle for Ampadu. Ampadu through the gap for Joseph, surrounded by Burnley players. Still going, Joseph plays it into the path of Solomon. Solomon back to Ampadu. It's so tight now. Gruev just outside the area. Gruev goes right side to Bogle. Burnley fill the penalty box as Bogle plays on the edge of the area to Gruev, who's forced a bit away from goal. Now gives it to Gnonto. Gnonto steps inside two challenges, makes space for himself. Still going Gnonto, still going Gnonto. Tries the shot, couldn't get his body round the ball, and it sails quite well wide.
That is what we're going to need, is some sort of bit of magic from one of our players to open them up, take players on. Gnonto took a load of players on, maybe one too many, because Solomon was on the left-hand side, would have been better placed with the ball just to his feet. And now Trafford has gone to the floor, I think, from a ball thrown back from the crowd. And they made a right hullabaloo over that.
Yeah, he suddenly just dropped to the ground, holding his head and rolling and rolling. And then picked himself up really quickly as well.
Goalkeeper's aim.
Crazy, man. Keeper has the ball. I think Leeds may be looking at changes soon. They need to change the scoreline. That is an absolute definite. Solomon over the top. Gnonto's offside. Goes round the keeper. Finishes. All a little bit pointless. Flag was raised sometime before.
Yes, it certainly was. It's another little chipped ball forward as well from Gnonto, who made the run, but once again defended pretty well. He just stood up at the right time and allowed Gnonto to run a yard offside.
Burnley keeper has come out the area to take the free kick. Ampadu, Gnonto. Gruev battling in the midfield, and Ampadu comes in and he helps out. And now Joseph. For a moment there was a bit more space than Leeds have been used to in this game. Now they're trying to create something down the left with Solomon. Solomon taking on the fullback. He's going for the byline. He's put it back in the middle. It's going to break for Ampadu. No, it isn't. Not quite. Challenge comes in, and Ampadu had to go for the ball, and now he's going to be yellow carded because he was... I thought he was a bit unlucky there. He's caught Brownhill. I don't see what choice he had.
I just wonder, did he actually catch him, or was he just trying to pull out at the last moment as the ball comes across? Oh, he's pulled out at the last moment. He's just momentum. It's nothing. Referee got conned into giving that yellow card.
He really had to go for the ball. It was breaking in his direction, but the two of them, Brownhill got there momentarily ahead of Ampadu, but he did recognise the danger, attempted to pull out of it, made some contact, a little contact. Still the yellow card was produced. Another one. Still the scoreline. Leeds 0, Burnley 1. Burnley almost lose possession, win it back on the edge of their own penalty area. And then the ball is played wildly into touch down the Burnley right for a Leeds United throw-in.
I think it's really important as well we keep this tempo and pace to the game up as well. Ask some fitness questions as well about this Burnley side. I'm certainly looking at their front man there, Flemming. Socks have been around his ankles for a little while, so he's done a lot of work in that first 45. Obviously plenty of subs to come on. I think they're going to have a big part to play in this game.
Pretty warm day for September, mid-September. Aaronson, no foul as Lauren gets the ball off him, and suddenly there's a break down the right side, and Meslier's got to come herring out the penalty area, and he slides in to make contact with the ball just ahead of Koleosho, and it goes into touch for a throw-in. Koleosho's got cramp, and he's squirming around on the turf there, and he's helped out in his moment of need by junior Firpo.
Meslier, as you saw, out really quickly. Just his momentum carried him through.
Maybe that's the fitness about which you've just been talking there, Tony. There's Koleosho with still pretty much half an hour to go. Pulls up with cramp, chasing that ball.
Well, they've worked really hard, haven't they, Burnley? They really have pressed us, been up and down the pitch, committed bodies forward when they finally get the ball and on their counter-attack. So a lot of work up and down the pitch. So Scott Parker will be delighted with his work rate, but it's now, can we keep pushing that? Can we make them work harder? Can we then get a breakthrough?
Slightly rattled look about Burnley, and a couple of little things there. They left a water bottle on the pitch as they all came racing to the touchline for fluid, and in the midst of that the game restarted and they conceded a poor throw-in. Leeds have the ball in the Burnley half. Ampadu to Rodon. Bogle has given it away, and now Flemming closed down quickly by Bogle. The referee says that's a free kick against Bogle. Flemming gets back to his feet, and Burnley have a free kick in the Leeds half.
Centre forward has done well, just gets a touch before getting collected by Bogle, and they will take a bit of time over this.
63rd minute, Leeds 0, Burnley 1. Anthony moving forward for Burnley now. Jaden Anthony with a step over, still with the ball on the edge of the area, just pushes it back to Pires, the full-back. Caught. Leeds carry it away. Ampadu, there's plenty going forward for Leeds United here. It's pushed out wide to Gnonto. Gnonto just can't get to the ball ahead of Laurent, who slides in. It stays in play and Gnonto picks it up, but Gnonto into the penalty area. Comes out for Ampadu, sweeps his shot in just over the top, off the fingertips of Trafford there, and that was a whisker away from an equalising goal.
Great effort from Ampadu, it really was, and Trafford, with those long fingers of his, just puts it over the bar. Positive play from Gnonto, driving into the box. Loose ball comes out, first time. That is a really good effort.
Ball's back in the middle, over the head of Rodon, who was right in front of goal. Headed out as far as Aaronson, puts it back to Solomon. Solomon in the penalty area, gives it back to Aaronson. Aaronson shoots wide, and Trafford lets it go, and all the fans behind the goal say that took a deflection on its way out, and the referee disagrees.
He saw nothing. The referee does come out, tries to give the keeper the eyes and go near post.
Burnley are going to make a change. Sarmiento, familiar figure, we've seen him I think a couple of times against Leeds in recent seasons, is coming on for them, another recent arrival for them. I'm a Brighton man. So he's come on to replace Koleosho, the man who was suffering from cramp not so long ago. He's got the long walk around from the far side to the Burnley dugout on the near side. As Joseph chases forward, and from that situation, Worrall's happy just to smash it into the east stand for a Leeds United throw-in. There are 2 balls on the pitch, so the game will have to stop a moment. Now it's back in play. Struijk. On it goes to Gruev. Turns, and Ampadu goes down. Says he was fouled. Referee again disagrees. Back with Trafford. The goalkeeper allowed Aaronson to come right in front of him before he moved it just past him. Burnley played it out from the back well on that occasion. Struijk comes in hard. Gruev can't keep it in play. Burnley will have a throw in. Joseph gestures to his teammates to go and push Burnley in that corner. 66th minute. Leeds 0, Burnley 1. Leeds are dominating the second half, but have nothing to show for it. They're going to make changes now, or shortly at least.
Yes, I think they'll have to get some fresh energy and keep this tempo nice and high. It's taken an age. Here's the fullback.
So long that the card is coming out. Not only has he taken too long, he's come too far forward as well.
Apart from that, it's all good.
And he's given a throw. Well, the throw was a poor one, and it was picked up by Bogle running towards the penalty area, and yet the referee's making him take the throw again. So this time he's much more cautious. He's given that one away as well. Straight to the head of Firpo this time. But Burnley get the ball back. Struijk, big and strong, gets the ball forward for Leeds. Under control to Joseph. Just beyond Aaronson. It's put into touch by Esteve. He hobbles away from that one as well. Leeds have a throw-in only, level with the edge of the Burnley box. Back it goes to Struijk. Short ball to Aaronson. Struijk, nothing forward, goes back to Rodon. Now Ampadu. Through the middle. Bogle to his right has the ball. Back to Ampadu, more centrally positioned. Struijk as Leeds go right to left, left to right. Just can't go forwards. Try and do that now maybe. Through the middle, Aaronson. Touch on to Joseph. Gets it back to Aaronson. Gnonto waits down the right. Gnonto whips the ball into the middle, just beyond the head of the stretching Firpo. And then Solomon just brilliantly, super quick across the turf to win the ball back ahead of the defender for Leeds. Gruev to Aaronson. Back to Gruev again. Camped in that Burnley half. Ampadu did too much there. He was robbed in possession, so Struijk has to defend on the halfway line for Leeds, and ends up giving away a throw-in again, much to the annoyance of those who have a good view of it on the far side of the ground. Changes to be made by Leeds United right now, and so Ethan Ampadu and Brendan Aaronson are the 2 players coming off. Piroe and Rothwell are the 2 coming on.
Certainly Ampadu, obviously, with that ankle as well, stayed on for as long as he can.
Played 2 tough games with Wales as well in the international break. They really were. Turkey and Montenegro were 2 full-on fixtures. So his afternoon's over. And Leeds the first of a few changes potentially here.
Yes, and this is where the experience of the likes of Rothwell, I think, is going to be important for us coming on in these sort of moments. And really trying to get us back in the game.
Esteve to Pires. Back to the goalkeeper via Brownhill, the captain. Worrall wide. Anthony. And then it goes back to the edge of the penalty area, and the captain, Worrall back to the goalkeeper. Now the captain back to the goalkeeper. Trafford out the box. Gnonto, he almost got in there. It's come for Bogle anyway. Now it's with Piroe. Piroe's blocked, but Leeds have a corner. And so they can keep everybody forward and send a few more in as well.
And Rothwell, we know he's got a great delivery. from set pieces. And we saw right at the end of the first half, Struijk had a good opportunity, which he was disappointed he didn't do better. Well, let's try and do better with this one.
20 minutes to go. Leeds behind. Have a corner kick. Rothwell puts it into the middle. It's bouncing around. It's come out for Solomon. Gives it back to Rothwell. They're all still in the area. Rothwell's across the edge of the box to Gruev. Now wide to Piroe. Still they're in there. Heads up in the middle from Rodon. It's carried off the top of his head. Solomon will chase to the near side. I think he's just shoved his opponent a little bit there, Sarmiento. And that will be a free kick to Burnley by the corner flag.
Defending well, aren't they, Burnley? Some big bodies out there to try and get around and through. So really, Trafford, what, only once, isn't it? Made a great save from Ampadu after that. Not contested quite as much as we would like.
Well, the free kick is definitely not from the position where Trafford has positioned the ball. It was much closer to the corner flag than the position he currently occupies. Still the game goes on. Sarmiento played into Flemming. Wide it goes down the right side for Burnley to Humphreys. Happy to go backwards, Burnley, with Laurent. Long cross into the box, and you could hear the shout of leave it coming from about 7,000 voices behind Meslier's goal as the ball came in towards Bogle. He shaped to head it, and then he followed instructions and duly left it. Went out for a goal kick.
That's what we call teamwork with the crowd as well. You're right, they've got a part to play. But we're running out of minutes now. Less than 20 to go.
Rodon at the back. Meslier to the left to Struijk. On it goes. And then Rothwell on the halfway line. Joseph. Firpo loses out, but it comes for Joseph helping out. Has it, and he's emerged from the crowd down the left-hand side for Leeds. Goes wide to Solomon. Solomon in from the touchline. Little ball into Gnonto. Gnonto out to Firpo. Attempt to get the ball back into the path of Gnonto is unsuccessful, but Leeds end up with a throw-in, level the edge of the Burnley box. Joseph's come out the area to try and win it back for Leeds United. They want a corner kick. Fans in that corner suggest it should have been, but Gnonto gets on the end of it, and is he not fouled there with Gnonto? Apparently not. And then Struijk steps across and stops Burnley getting forward, but it's a throw into the away side.
Oh, a few occasions, really good work from Mateo Joseph over there. Centre forward coming back and helping out, winning the ball back, but can't help but think I really want him in the middle of the box, and I want him on the end of crosses, and we've not got enough of those in today.
Changes being made by Burnley. Cullen is coming on, and Hannibal is the man with the long walk. This time from the far side, so he departs the arena just in front of the east stand, and he's now got to walk all the way down that side and across the front of the south stand. And well, there you go. He'll feel that ultimately he might be the one having the last laugh if Leeds can't get back at least on terms in the less than 20 minutes that remain of the 90 here. 17 indeed it is. So time is now beginning to tick away from Leeds. The longer they stay in their own half as they are at the moment, the more desperate things will begin to get. Rodon. Back to Gruev. Played wide. Firpo. He's not going to get to that one. Gets the second ball though. Lets it run out for a throw-in. Takes it back to Struijk. Now Gruev. And now Rodon. And now Bogle. Leeds midway inside the Burnley half, and they're now back on the halfway line. Now Gnonto, back it goes to Bogle. I think it's fair to say that Hannibal isn't going quietly.
Well, he's making a bit of a pullock of himself, to be honest.
Surrounded by stewards. As the ball is played wide, the figure of Gnonto takes it down on his chest. Gnonto, brought down by Sarmiento. This should be a card because he was on his way there, Gnonto. Heading for the byline. But, he was stopped, fouled, and it's just a free kick.
Good control. Little jinx, see you later. That is a forwards challenge. Now what we need is a quality ball in. Gruev is over it.
So Gruev to deliver into the penalty area. One-man wall just outside the area is Sarmiento. Repositioned by the goalkeeper. 15 to go. Gruev curled in goalwards, heads up at the far post. Well, Rodon was arriving and he ducked down to try and make contact, and it just evaded him and went behind.
It's a great ball in. It's a wonderful ball in. Delivery is really good, and you've got to throw yourself at them. Unfortunately, didn't quite fall. So one of our players, Rodon, nearly there, but fortunately just not going our way from set pieces.
Trafford with the ball away. Sarmiento stretches into touch, and it's how's it a Burnley ball? No, the referee has overruled his assistant there. That was embarrassing.
That was very odd.
And it's a Leeds ball. Struijk. Oh, poor ball, way short of Solomon. Burnley sense the chance of a counter-attack now. On the right side, so Struijk to an extent makes amends by going across and knocking the ball into touch. But now Burnley are where they want to be at this stage of the game, up in the Leeds half. Haven't done anything really from an attacking sense in this second period. Concentration, the focus has been purely on keeping Leeds out. In fairness to them, they've done a pretty good job of that thus far. Now they're trying to attack with Anthony down the right side. Firpo's got a cross in front of him. He puts it into touch for another Burnley throw in.
He looks at Meslier, thinks maybe the keeper could have come. I don't think so, but good defending from Firpo.
Two more changes for Leeds imminent. Byram and Ramazani. Burnley in possession in the Leeds half. Worrall plays a ball too far ahead, surely, of his teammate down that far side. That's the case. He made a half-hearted attempt to try and get there, but it rolled away and out. So the changes are made now. So Firpo is the first to leave, and Byram comes on to replace him. And then Solomon is the second man off, and Ramazani will go on in place of him.
Both players with the travelling and internationals in their legs as well. They get a deserved rest, and now can the players coming on make that difference?
Yep, he's been busy in the international window as Solomon in a couple of games. Now he's off and Ramazani is on. Leeds with Joseph on the halfway line. Strong challenge from Worrall to win it back for Burnley. And then another one from Joseph to almost get it back for Leeds. It's pushed back to the keeper. Trafford swings a boot at it. 78th minute. Struijk, header forward. Rodon, another one up in the air. Goes for the second one as well. Clash of heads. Real bad clash of heads between Rodon and Brownhill. Rodon looks in real discomfort as he rolled. Oh, there's blood on his hand. I can see it straight away.
He was really late. There's blood on Brownhill's hand as well. I think Brownhill, just from the angle, I thought he may have got the worst of it, but it looks like Rodon's in a heap of trouble as well.
So the two players are down, and one or the other or both appears to be bleeding quite significantly from that challenge.
I mean, it's awful when you've got the ball bounces up high and both players, all they're looking at is the ball, and they're so determined to get there, they just fling their head towards it. There's always someone going to come off worse, but this time, looks like both are in a pretty bad way.
You fancy that this could be a fairly lengthy break, so the players are heading towards the near side touchline for fluid refreshment and a team talk in Scott Parker's case for sure. He's got all the Burnley outfield players around him now, and he's issuing them with instructions for the final 10 minutes of this game.
Well, I'll be telling him, certainly concentrate, keep your shape, keep doing exactly what you're doing, but you can see it's Brownhill that certainly gets to the ball first, but just his momentum brings a clash of heads.
Brownhill, well, he's moving his hand around here. Rodon also has been, still both players lying on the turf, and Brownhill's been helped up. He's definitely bleeding. He has some sort of padding pushed to the side of his head, right on the temple, I think, just above the eye. Real boxer's cut there. And Rodon, I think he's having a bandage applied, is he?
Yeah, just looking at the goal again, and I have to say the Burnley player showed a lot of composure in sticking that one away after running a good 60-70 yards, but so avoidable, unfortunately, from our point of view.
And that's the way the game and the scoreline remains, as we are, well, technically we're into the final 10 minutes here, although the game is still not in any position close to restarting, it wouldn't appear. Rodon is now heavily bandaged, but is getting back to his feet and gets applause for his effort. Brownhill remains down on the ground. There's going to be a blood change for Rodon in terms of the shirt. Medical staff just keen, I think, to ensure that he's okay in terms of his cognitive skills. So we're having a quick chat with him. But, being the rough, tough centre half he is, probably hard to tell, but
what are you trying to say about his cognitive skills there? I think it's tomorrow where the pain's going to come, isn't it? Now the adrenaline's flowing, he'll get back out there and see the game out, but that is going to swell up, no doubt. A few stitches might be needed afterwards as well.
You think back to the playoff final and Dan James, that head injury he got in that one, and he played on, and you can still see deep scarring on his forehead from that, and the fact that he carried on with the game is just, well, I guess that's the level of commitment required, isn't it?
Give absolutely everything. James and Rodon certainly are those types of players. And here's our best chance so early on in the game as well. And Joseph, just as he starts to go for his shot, was leaning away, and that just diverted the ball wide, unfortunately.
Brownhill is not back on his feet yet. He does have a bandage himself. I would guess they'll have to make a decision as to whether he's in a good enough state to carry on fairly shortly. The Burnley skipper, experienced player, one of the few remaining from the Premier League campaign. Brownhill's back on his feet. His shirt will also need to be changed. So the game will restart shortly. We had a lengthy break there, but we had 3, 4, 5 minutes. Scott Parker comes for a conversation with his captain, probably asking him whether he's okay to carry on. The game goes on. Both sides down to 10 currently, with the 2 injured players still on the touchline. Rodon is ready to join the action. Brownhill not quite. Struijk. Leeds will be keen to get Rodon on quickly, if only for a brief advantage. They've just put the ball into touch from Byram, which probably doesn't help on that basis. Rodon's back on now.
It's a shame as well that the break was so long, because I think that helped Burnley, the recovery period, just the settling down, getting energy back in their legs.
Take on gels and fluids for the big press you'd anticipate in the final 10 minutes of this. We're in the 85th minute. Probably add 5 to that at least, I would guess. Rodon out to Bogle. Tries to play it down the channel for Gnonto, cut out by Pires. Leeds throw just in front of Daniel Farke. He's got the winter coat on already, Farke. Changes are coming for Leeds again now as more players are called back. It's Tanaka. Maybe Gelhardt as well. Leeds just need something a bit different here. Struijk down the left. Given back to Pascal Struijk. In it goes to Ramazani. Oh, he's run it into touch. And showed promise at the start of that little move, and then it ended in a way he wouldn't have wanted it to. Out for a throw in. So we're in the last 5 minutes at Ellen Road. It's Leeds United 0, Burnley 1.
Taking an age again.
Fairly unsurprisingly at this stage where Burnley feel they're really close to a big win against one of the sides they'll expect to be pushing with them at the top of the table. And one defeat so far this season for Burnley. Away at the side who were 100% record at the top of the table, Sunderland. Now Leeds will make another change. And it's Joe Rodon. They're not going to take a chance with him any further. And I guess it'll give an opportunity to push on another attacking player in Tanaka.
Yeah, and the option, of course, of dropping Ampadu back in is not there because he's came off. I think Byram
will go in.
Yeah, Byram will just come back and just drop in. Possibly just 3 at the back.
Gruev across the back to Byram. Burnley sense there's a chance for them to put pressure and create something. Byram has the ball back for Leeds. Now Gruev on it goes to Tanaka. Rothwell. Byram. Halfway line. Gruev alongside him. Puts it through the middle, intercepted. And it spins and breaks kindly for Flemming of Burnley, and then Struik's got to go and make a big challenge, and he does make a really good challenge, and it's opened things up a little bit for Leeds here. Gnonto down the left. Moving up to the edge of the penalty area, Willie Gnonto. In it goes, he's overhit it, but Piroe's got to it on the byline. He couldn't get it back into the middle. Half-hearted calls for handball in the midst of all of that. The goalkeeper has it in his hands.
That's our best opportunity when Burnley are around the halfway line and pushing bodies out. At least when we win it back quickly, we have more a chance to find space. But good defending in the end. I thought we could at least want a corner kick there, but now it's going Burnley's way.
Trafford with the drop kick forward. Played out to Anthony, who's up in the Leeds half. Now it's back on the halfway line. Laurent robbed well by Ramazani. Ramazani moving forward here for Leeds United. Ramazani still going. Plays it. Oh, it's just behind Bogle. Piroe just outside the area. Tanaka trying to play it for Byram. He'll go and win the ball back again. Now Tanaka into Piroe. Gnonto, Ramazani is down in the penalty area, but he's back hobbling out of the box now. Got to get back on side as well if Leeds come forward again here. Struijk. Now Gnonto. Gnonto in from the touchline. Rothwell just outside the box, goes back to Struijk. Struijk with a short ball to Rothwell. Rothwell puts it into the middle. Goalkeeper Trafford comes racing off his goal line and gets there ahead of Ramazani, and then indicates that he's hurt himself and banged his knee in the process.
Well, he's a very fragile keeper, isn't he? It's, everything's causing him a bit of a problem at the moment.
36,405 here inside Ellen Road. The vast majority of them at the moment are anxious because time is very much against Leeds now, as Burnley hold an advantage and have a free kick for a pull on the shirt of Flemming.
That's what Flemming does really well. The thing is, he can do it against Gruev. He couldn't do it against Rodon because Rodon was too big and strong and clever for him, but Gruev dropping back in there, finding it a little bit more difficult.
2 Burnley subs ready to come on, and we're in the 90th minute, so the board will tell us shortly how much longer Leeds have to play with in the search for an equaliser here. Burnley discuss what they're going to do with a free kick. And then make a decision, but don't actually take it. Now they do. In it goes. Struik's header over his own crossbar. He knew that Worrall was just over his shoulder, and Burnley have exactly what they want here, a corner kick, their first of the second half.
Once again, they will take an age, but got to defend it. It's just a ball into a dangerous area over the back.
So the ref's assistant awaits the 90th minute ticking up so he can put the additional time board up. 8 added minutes. 8 for Leeds to get back terms. But first they've got to defend this corner. You hear a roar go up. Still an opportunity, but for Burnley, they know now the end is very much in sight. Surely, Brownhill was offside and right in front of us there. Nothing given, and Burnley have it in the Leeds half. Pires. Sarmiento down the near side. Leeds have made so many changes defensively that it'll be interesting to see how they deal with Burnley actually coming on the attack for the first time in the second period. Well, if Sarmiento does that more often, wildly misplaced ball, that'll be fine.
Right, let's get on with it.
Burnley hold things up. Clever from Scott Parker. Just as Leeds was looking to take a quick goal kick, put the board up for the subs. Flemming off. And Flemming is on the edge of the Leeds penalty area, and Parker's telling him to come straight over to this side to come off. And Flemming's walk is slow. Brownhill also about to depart. Massengo will come on for him. And Hountondji.
The referee's finally worked out which player is the second one coming. Just add the time on.
Well, he's been played there, hasn't he, the ref, a little bit. Because by rights, Flemming should have gone off behind the goal. He didn't. He set off slowly from the edge of the Leeds penalty area, where the ball is currently positioned for the goal kick. And we've already had nearly 2 of the added 8 minutes. And there's been very little play in that time. So hopefully that is reflected. Rothwell's under pressure, forced back. Meslier gets the ball beyond the oncoming forward. Now Byram. He's gone backwards towards his own goalkeeper. Much the frustration, I guess, of the home fans. Gruev. Leeds beginning to drink at last chance saloon here. Byram again is forced backwards. This is not where these home supporters want to see the ball at this advanced stage of the afternoon. Burnley doing well, just blocking the opportunity to pass off. Leeds trying to play through it. Tanaka, now Rothwell. Right side to Byram, halfway line still. Trying to put it over the top for Bogle. Bogle didn't quite get there. Leeds have a throw in by the corner flag.
The ball actually was Tanaka at that time. He found space ahead of the plate. Oh, he's offside.
Bogle caught offside. He was really tight down there. And just what Leeds didn't need. Any sort of momentum lost.
Finding it difficult to find space now, aren't we? In and around the 18-yard box, and Burnley centre halves. They defended manfully. Plenty of bodies in the way. Great discipline. Just not been clever enough or got it in the dangerous areas often enough to get crosses in the box.
Trafford plays it straight into touch. Leeds throw in. Down below, Byram calls for the ball so he can get the game going again. We're halfway through the added time period. Piroe. Sarmiento wins a free kick, and I use that phrase because that's exactly what he did do. He just turned away from his man, dropped to the floor, and the semblance of a challenge on him was enough for the referee to blow his whistle. Esteve, the centre half from the halfway line, goes long. Byram does well, keeps it in and gets it to Bogle. Bogle gets it into the middle. Joseph has won it, and Gnonto was waiting out to his left, who has the ball now. There's a bit of space for Gnonto as he comes forward. He's into the penalty area, put into the middle. Oh, it was a really inviting ball, but nobody had come across Trafford, and Trafford got down and gathered it into his body.
Well, Ramazani was there, but couldn't quite get across in front of the keeper or the defender, but Gnonto puts into a dangerous area. Just a little late in getting there.
Daniel Farker is in animated conversation with the forward official about the amount of time that Burnley are taking about the restarts here, but all to no avail, you suspect, as the ball is put up in the air, drops in the Leeds half. Byram with a header, but Anthony will try to marshal it out. Gnonto got in before him. Rothwell, he's dragged back. That'd be a late yellow card here, as Rothwell was looking to get forward for Leeds, stopped with a shirt tug, an obvious shirt tug from Massengo. Leeds free kick. Less than 3 minutes of the 8, if that's what it's to be, remaining. Struijk wide to Gnonto. On it goes, Pascal Struijk down the left wing, tries to get his cross in. Second touch was off Struijk, he's unlucky. Clearance was against him and into touch for a Burnley throw in.
Well, Struijk trying to be nice and positive and be that extra man further up the pitch, but doesn't quite work out. O'Shea's off him. Burnley just taking their time again.
Burnley voices that you can hear inside Ellen Road, they know how close they are. Rothwell for Leeds. Inside the final 2 minutes, Bogle. Bogle could have gone for that himself, he left it to Piroe. Piroe didn't read the signs. Leeds winner throw in, gifted them by Worrall. Byram, Piroe, in it goes to Joseph. Joseph goes down, clutching his shin. The referee sees nothing wrong, and neither does the assistant, who was looking across it. And Burnley will get the throw in.
I honestly think there wasn't too much in that one. Well, you have to say, when the studs are kind of go up from the centre half, they normally get given. Not today, it's not really going for us. In second half, haven't really done quite enough, have we? In the first half, looking back at those chances and the penalty decision, could have scored 3, but
almost into the path of Tanaka on the edge of the area, but not quite. Now Rothwell trying to get it back on the halfway line, but it's still alive for Tanaka to go in and win. And now Leeds with Gnonto. What a tackle that is on Gnonto, through him from behind, but he's ridden it, and then the referee pulls play back because
he's off. Second yellow is off.
Second yellow is going to be shown there for that.
Bashir Humphreys.
It was always going to happen, wasn't it? We had that many cards, so Leeds have a minute and or less, actually, technically, against 10 men of Burnley.
And actually Humphreys, I thought, played pretty well, but once you get a yellow card, he's got to be very wary. Gnonto
still on the pitch.
Oh, he's taking an age, isn't he?
He's still on the pitch. And the second card was waved, 30 seconds ago? And still not off. So all this has to be added on. Finally, he leaves the arena. We're past the 8-minute mark, so it's down to the ref now what he's going to do. Leeds with a free kick to Gnonto, coming in from the touchline. Played it back into Gruev, back to Gnonto on the edge of the penalty area. Gnonto curls his cross into the middle, heads go up, and the goalkeeper does what Burnley needed him to do there. He comes into the middle of the crowd and he gathers the ball, and Burnley will feel that they're really close now.
Yes, that might have been our last chance. They just take their time and try and eke out the last seconds of this game.
Trafford just walks the ball to the edge of the penalty area. Added time on added time here. Long kick up into the Leeds half. Struik's underneath it. Burnley have possession. And it's Anthony bursts through a crowd of players and takes it to the corner flag, exactly where they want it. As they now have a throw in, Leeds are stuck in more ways than one here. In fact, is it going to be a corner kick?
Corner kick, yeah.
Yeah. So Burnley know that they've just got to do the right thing with this corner, and then time will be up. Keep it in the corner, inevitably. Leeds win it back, and then the free kick is awarded to Leeds. So the game does go on, and they cannot hang around with this now, Leeds. They're going to race up the pitch here. Meslier waving everybody up. Meslier boots it long, and the whistle goes to the lips of the referee, and he brings the game to its conclusion. And Leeds have lost for the first time in the Championship this season, and they've lost here at Ellen Road. It was a goal conceded in the first half that proved enough. Burnley really well organised defensively, worked hard, and Leeds had a couple of really good chances and a big shout for a penalty, but just could not find a way through, and ultimately fall to a first defeat this season. Full-time scoreline here at Leeds. It's finished. Leeds United 0, Burnley 1.
Certainly a very disappointing result. I thought early on there's no doubt that we could have gone 1-0 up, 2-0 up, but Burnley, through a mistake of our own, or a bit of an unfortunate slip, get their goal. But after that second half, you're waiting for us to turn up and really turn the screw. Well, physically we did, but Burnley manfully and tactically, I thought, were very good indeed. They stuck at their task. We found it more and more difficult. We ran out really of ideas. Changes didn't have a great effect, and Scott Parker's men run out, I think, probably worthy winners in the end. However, I will say you've got to take your chances at whatever level you play. We had those chances, we didn't, and we lost the game.
Yeah, in a tight match as we anticipated it would be, and it was. It was the one big moment Koleosho took, and those that Leeds squandered that have ultimately made the big difference here. So Leeds back on the road next weekend with a long trip down to South Wales to take on Cardiff, and a few days to reflect on the first Championship disappointment of this campaign. The full-time scoreline, it's finished Leeds United 0, Burnley 1.